So apparently my camera doesn't know how to get the focus anymore, so it keeps blurring in and out, which is super annoying. But hi! How are you? Are you good? I have to wait 5 seconds for my camera to calm down. Today I'm doing something a little bit different. For anybody... If I just sit like this, it'll calm down. The main things that I do, if you're not aware, is that I am an artist in general. I've always been drawing ever since I was a little girl, and it was specifically in primary school, nursery, that my teachers said that I had talent in art. So I took that and ran with it. Most of my life I have been doing things that are creative because that's something that makes me happy, and I'm double creative because I'm also dyslexic. And for anybody who doesn't know what that means, it's when, for me specifically, my version of it, I find it difficult to read a language that's been made up by humans, i.e. my own language, which is English. I found that reading other languages is much easier for me, so maybe it's just English, I don't know. That's not important. What is important is that I mainly do art. I have always been drawing ever since I was little, and the other day somebody said, why don't you do some art stuff recently and teach people that? And I love teaching, I love drawing, so I figured, okay then, I'll actually do some videos. I don't know I haven't done this sooner because it makes so much sense. And with art, I know exactly what I'm talking about, so we're gonna have some fun, and I'm gonna teach you some basic skills that can just help you improve, as it doesn't matter if you're a beginner or if you're a pro, because no one's really a pro. And I found that one of the greatest things that I've learned is that recognizing, by the way, this is a key tip if you're not clued up yet. If your cup's half empty and you learn and recognize your mistakes and you learn from them, you will get better. That is one of my top tips for anybody who thinks, oh my gosh, I cannot draw, I can't do anything, and I hate art and I don't want to draw. I always tell people, no, the fact that you've made a mistake and you look at it and you recognize that it's a mistake, you're already getting better. Which sounds so weird, but honestly, like, that's one of the reasons why I never use a rubber. That's a second tip for you right there. I don't use rubbers. I was talking to my brother the other day, and me and him laughed at the fact that he came to ask me for a rubber. They do not exist in my world. So I was just like, I don't have a rubber. Bye. To make you feel a little easier with this, you can use a pencil for today, or you can use a pen. But we're just going to do some simple shading, some simple exercises that you can do if you're on a break, having a coffee, so at home, if you're out and about, if you're bored. I would sincerely say, just grab a random piece of paper that's not an important piece of paper, just a random scrap of paper, because that's the best kind, and just draw all over it. Let's get into it because I really don't want this video to run over too long. So firstly, we're just going to go over some basic tips, and one thing that people always do is just try to draw whatever they're trying to draw straight away. So for example, if they were trying to draw an eye, someone said, draw an eye for me, and people just automatically just draw hard lines all over the place and then say, oh, that's not in the right place, and oh well, if I could do it again, I'd do it like this. No. Firstly, what you need is soft lines. Get plenty of shape, you know, don't be afraid to draw it big. Fill up the whole page. People always draw like teeny tiny, like they're worried to make a mistake. You're gonna make a mistake if you're drawing it super teeny tiny, so make sure you're getting some nice shape in it. Don't be afraid to turn your paper, that's another tip. Turn your paper. Your hand should be comfortable when you're drawing. You don't have to stay here and try and bend around. Just take it easy. Use the shape. Let it move around. Secondly, when people do shading, how many times they just do squiggles, you know, they think they gotta get squiggles all over the place and they think, oh yeah, I'll just do it as fast as possible because that's how professionals do it, they can draw really fast. So many people try and rush it when they're shading, they just think as fast as possible is best. No. The best work comes from the amount of time and effort you have put in. So do not squiggle all over the place. Firstly, you get this weird loopy line, and secondly, it looks so much more professional when you just take your time and you draw lines. A bonus to doing individual lines, you have to take the pen off the paper. You will hear it. Not like that. Just like you're flicking it, like you're getting that dollar. Okay? You don't. No, you gotta do it with that sass. Okay? Do it the sass. It looks professional. You can see the difference, you can see the quality. So take your time. You know, like everybody does the I'm a painter and I do it like this. Do some Bob Ross, you know? He takes it off the paper. Take it off the paper. Go for it. None of this squiggly lines. We don't need any squiggly lines because it just looks lazy. And it's like you put no effort into it. I remember the one time in art class where I'd forgotten to do some homework. All you had to do was draw a section of a drawing. So you know how you had the grid method? I hate the grid method. I was above everybody in my art class and failed in English because I couldn't read it because of my dyslexia. So on one hand, I can't read my own language, but on the other side, I was top of the class in art, so that was cool. But the one time I forgot to do the homework, I squiggled it really quick using random pencils that were breaking and running out of lead because I didn't take my time and do it the night before because I forgot about it. So when the teacher saw it, she knew I had not done my best work because usually I would get A+, A and B's, and this was the only time I got a C in art homework. So yeah, I never wanted to see again, so I always remembered to do my art homework the night before because I did not want a C. No. All about getting them A's. B's alright, B's cute, but A and A star, ooh, so good. I put a little star next to it. Feels good. The next part of shading would be cross hatching. Now, this is when you go in one direction, you put the other lines in a different direction. So get it? Cross hatching. So it's like we're knitting it. We're knitting them layers together. You need to turn the paper again. Once again, don't feel pressured to stay here, and you gotta have your wrist straight like a ballerina, okay? Keep your wrist straight when drawing. Where's my pen? Keep your wrist straight. Don't make it awkward for your hand. First off, that's gonna hurt your hand, and secondly, your drawing is gonna have curved lines in it because you're trying to move it. It's awkward. We don't want no swan arms here. We want straight arms, just like we want the straight, nice straight lines. Okay? And that will give you the best results. Taking our time, using it wisely, and producing great work. It's quality over quantity. You can squiggle out as many quick drawings as you want, but none of those will be as good as the one piece of work where you've done it nicely. So we're gonna try and up our game here. So we've already done the lines in one direction. Now we've done cross hatching, go in one direction and another to really build up that darkness. Now we're gonna up our game here and do a circle. We're getting it darker on the sides and we're making it lighter in the middle, so we're doing less marking. And at the top is where I want the light to be. So I'm putting those lines in and I'm letting it just flow out. Putting more lines at the bottom and getting that shape in. Don't be afraid now to curve those lines and get that shape in. wants to be nice and round. And of course, if this is too much, you can always take it a step back and you can just try and see if you can put some lines in and see if you can get them darker on one side and make them lighter and gentler as you go across. Okay. If even that's too much, you can, I don't know if this is going to make it harder or easier, because for some people it makes it harder and for some people it makes it easier, but you can just do little sections and you can do really light on one side and a little bit darker and a little bit darker until you get to pure dark all on one side and really light as possible, but you still got to make those marks, so it's not invisible lines that you're doing like, oh, I'll just leave that one blank. No, we're still doing lines, okay, but you're just going over it as gently as you can and getting darker and darker, and you're not doing it from pushing hard on the paper, you're doing it by overlaying these lines that we've practiced. That might be easier for you to just do it in smaller sections, or you might just want to do dark lines and let it fade out and get gentle again. Both of these work, and both of these help you recognize how to get it to different shades and how to get that shape in when you next do an animal or an object or a building. You know, these are all basic tools that can help you out. It's just that nobody thinks about them. You know, when people draw stuff, they just think, oh, I've got to draw it straight away, like I showed you at the beginning. You know, they just think, oh, no. Let's see how much you've learned from all of this, all my blabbing. Let's see how much you've learned. Can we now draw a simple object and eye? I'm just drawing this out of my head, okay? I'm not looking in a mirror, so there's no reference for you or for me to draw an eye. We are just going to try and draw an eye right now, and we're going to start off with those gentle layers that we've practiced, because when you're sketching you need to start off really gentle. See how gentle, you know, it's like a feather dropping, okay, or a leaf in fall. Okay? We're just going to go around and we're going to create those shapes. A circle, I always start with circles. Just imagine what this shape is going to look like, and then I will put my pen to paper. Just let your hand figure out what shape it's going to start off with, okay? Imagine in your head that you can already see what you're going to draw, and all you have to do is trace it, almost. So some people will understand what I mean when I say that, because when I draw, sometimes I already know what the drawing is, and all I have to do is just try and get it out of my head and put it onto the paper. And it is tricky sometimes because, oh, it didn't turn out how I saw it in my head, and oh, this should be like this. But then again, you're literally just telling yourself, actually, next time I should do like this, and oh, I should have put more shading there, or I should have put this lighter here. You're teaching yourself. Everybody is teaching themselves, but it's up to you to listen to other people when they give you advice. I am very delicate sometimes when it comes to criticism, and other times I want to hear the bad stuff that people have to say because I want to get better. So when you see something in your drawing and you think, oh, I should have done like this, or oh, I should have done this more, or why doesn't that look like that? Try turning the paper, or even better, sometimes it's good to step back from your drawing. You know, go make a cup of tea. If you're getting annoyed, that's what I do when it's not working. I get so angry. So sometimes you just have to go and step back from your work. Take a break. It's important to take breaks. And step back from it. And then come back and look at it. And you might think, oh, I still don't like it. But ask yourself, well, why don't you like it? Why don't you like it? What's wrong with it? Do you put too much shading in one place, or the shape is not a circle enough? Or I'm saying this like we're drawing an eye still. So if you want some help, feel free to DM me on Instagram. It's Comera Stitches, so at Comera_stitches on Instagram. If you want to DM me and send me some of your artwork and ask just for advice. I had someone ask me for advice the other day and they were so lovely, and I gave them a whole paragraph. But I tried to give them a nice balance between the parts of their drawing that I really loved and where they could improve. And they actually, you know, inspired me because they were using a technique I hadn't even thought about. So you might be doing something amazing, but you might just need to work on some basic skills. And that's not an insult, you know, it's important to go back. I haven't been drawing for a good 3 or 4 months, and it's important for me to go over these basic skills, because if you don't know your basics, how are you gonna be a professional with it, you know? If you're a professional and you don't know your basics, is anybody gonna want your work if you're not caring about the quality? You gotta have that quality, you know? So remember your brush strokes, remember to take the pen off the paper, and no rubbers. No rubbers, they don't exist. Stop buying them, we don't need them. So I hope that this was helpful. I hope that you feel like I've actually taught you something instead of me just rambling on. But yeah, try to put the time in if you genuinely want to get better. And try and pick out some parts of your drawing that you do like and some parts that you don't like, because this will help you improve and it'll show you what direction you want to go in.